Bill Burr slamming CNN, the comedian saying that the network is, quote, un-American and secretly wishes for President Trump to be the president again because it would be better for their ratings. Joining me now, President of Accuracy in Media, Adam Guillette. Adam, good morning to you. And what did you make of Burr's comments?
Well, he was dead on. The job of journalism, the job of a journalist is to educate people, to inform, to share facts. But CNN isn't journalism, it's entertainment. And any entertainment, any drama needs a good villain. That is the role that Trump played for them. He was the villain, just as COVID was the villain or has been the villain, and they don't want to let the pandemic go. We joke at Accuracy in Media, the only difference between CNN and satire sites like the Babylon Bee is at least people reading the Babylon Bee know that they're being lied to.
Yeah, and you're right about the ratings hitting, but also the fact that they're ignoring, I think, a lot of other stories. And I want to point you to this we saw on the Sunday shows yesterday, Adam. If you look at the major networks and all the Sunday morning shows yesterday, not one mention on any network, on any Sunday show about Texas Democrats testing positive for COVID. You know, the Democrats that decided, oh, we don't want to vote, so we're going to get on planes and leave the state. I mean, this is they're trying to find and spin narratives while ignoring what really is true news and what's happening in like legislatures like Texas.
That's exactly right. And of course, it goes without saying, can you imagine if something like that had happened with Republicans? CNN would have broken into whatever they were covering at that moment and made as much hay of it as possible. The hypocrisy is hysterical, but, you know, it's not as if we should even be taking them seriously because they are not a news outlet anymore. They tell people what they want to hear. It's a fragmented media landscape where progressives are watching CNN, they're reading the New York Times, they're reading Washington Post, and to capture as much viewership amongst that audience as possible, they simply tell that audience what they want to hear. That audience doesn't want to hear the Democrats were ignoring their own rules. We're ignoring mask rules. We're drinking on a plane rather than socially distancing and wearing those masks. So they're not going to tell their audience that story.
Yeah, no, and I want to bring in Shana Sissel into this, Shana, too, because this is a big reason that there is such a distrust when it comes to media and the public when you find out things like this.
Yes, and the worst part, or the best part, depending on which side of the aisle you sit on, is, this continued focus on President Trump is leading to more and more likelihood that he could run again. I know there have been several straw polls that have said that if he wanted to, he would be the presumptive Republican nominee in the next election cycle. And I'm curious, is that the end game? Do you think that ultimately that's what people are and news organizations like CNN are hoping for because, again, it's better for their ratings?
Adam?
Well, I think CNN is hoping for anything, as you said, that will get them ratings. So what they'll do is they'll test out Ron DeSantis. They'll test out, Nikki Haley. They'll try and see if those guys, if they serve as good of a villain for their audience. And I don't know that they necessarily will. So it'll all come back to Trump. It'll come back to, is Trump going to run? What is Trump up to now? They're almost like somebody who is, complaining about the person they have a crush on in middle school. The way they go on and on and on about Trump and swear that they don't like him, even though they're clearly obsessed with him.
Adam Guillette, good point. We're going to leave it there. Adam, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.